Let's Play of Primordia. And is invalid again, and we are playing this futuristic cyberpunk apocalyptic dystopian sort of point and click game. This is one of those games that launches the settings before you actually play the game, so we don't have to worry about any of that here when we're actually playing. This is a wonderful point and click game, and I can talk more about my experience with it after we start. And right off the bat, I just have to say the soundtrack in this game, if you enjoyed Fallout, or if you like any kind of that any of that trance music, this is the soundtrack for you. It's absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and start Primordia.
Almost there. One more setting. And one more piece of the unique is operational.
One down, 1 million to go. Speaking of which, boss, I found exactly none of the parts you wanted. A whole day at the junk pile, and all I turn up are a locker and some stupid conduits. Maybe next time. Boss, are you sure you got those settings right?
That came from down in engineering. Let's go.
Alright, we've been introduced to 3 characters so far, but before we really get to talking about them...
There's no time for that. There's no time for that.
Let's go ahead and...
The blast came from engineering, not the deck.
Let's go ahead and head down. So... yeah, let's just head down the hatch real quick, since apparently there's no time for anything.
There's no time for that.
Basically, at this point, if you click on anything other than where you're supposed to go, our main character is going to say there's no time for that, or it's not important.
Boss?
Crispin, get behind me. Who are you and what do you want? Power.
I think he wants the power core, boss.
Stop right there. This ship belongs to me.
Forfeit. Enemy. Plunder.
I don't think he's too keen on private property.
Get away from the power core.
Forfeit.
Okay then. Well, that's the end of the game, so I guess we're done. Sorry,
Boss?
I had to.
Boss? Horatio? Come on, Horatio, wake up!
Ugh.
Whew, you're okay.
What happened?
Well, Big Ugly threw you out of the ship, and then he said plunder, again, and then he left with our power core.
Basad.
Yep,
How much charge have you got?
10%. You?
I'll be fine. We just need to get the emergency generator up and running.
Or we could just go to Metropol, city of glass and light. Free energy for one and all.
Don't believe everything you hear. Metropol is trouble. But if you want to go, you've got free will and a maglev unit.
With that guilt subroutine you put in me, I wouldn't even make it halfway.
Actually, with a 10% charge, you wouldn't even get that far. So I suggest we get the generator working.
You and your projects.
Man built us to build, Crispin. Now, come on.
Okay, so... oh my gosh, wow. So as you can tell, this is set in the future. And we got introduced to our two main characters. The one we are clicking around and walking around as is Horatio. And our little smart aleck friend is Crispin. And Crispin is a fun little guy, I have to say. I really do enjoy him. But, so yeah,
You know, boss, if you're ever wondering what I would do, feel free to just ask.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, if you stand around too long, then Crispin starts to say stuff, and Horatio and Crispin will have small conversations. Crispin is a funny little side character, or a sidekick, I should say. But yeah, we've already been given our first objective. We got almost killed by a massive machine, massive robot that took our alleged power core, and now we need to get it back somewhere out of these wastes.
I must have dropped the data pouch when I was thrown out of the unique. Assad, its memory got wiped. Easy enough to have the good old junk pile's coordinates back in, though.
Junk pile. Crispin mentioned something about that before this whole thing went down. And man built us to build. Interesting.
I can't pick that up.
Okay. I wasn't intending to pick it up, but wrong button, I suppose.
Now, I'm not a fancy engineer like you, boss, but it seems like the unique isn't gonna fly without its tail on.
Great observation, Crispin. There's so many things to click on, and I don't know.
A broken robot I dragged out of the junk pile. I salvaged the sarcasm coprocessor from it for Crispin.
Yeah, it works great.
Oh boy. This is why I love Crispin and Horatio and their interactions.
Is that a gumball machine?
No, it's a robot's head.
Ah, I wanted a gumball.
A fleeting line of love and funny in this desolate wasteland.
It's one of the Unique's turbines.
The big engine that couldn't.
Okay. That was... Oh, I forgot that. I forgot how funny Crispin is. So... I really do want to talk about my experience with this game. It actually started out several years ago. One of my close friends in real life was playing this in his own time, and I saw him
Boss,
playing.
are you ever gonna do anything about that oil leak?
Yes, after we recover our power core.
Now who's making excuses?
Some very sticky grease. It's a segment of Gordium electrical conduit.
Well, let's go ahead and pick up the conduit. One of the things, one of my friends was playing this back in the day, and there was a certain point that he couldn't get past. But I watched him play it. I was over at his place at the time, and I watched him play it with the piece of conduit. And This game looked absolutely amazing. With what little he managed to get through, I was intrigued by this game from the very beginning. The whole art style, kind of the whole machines have taken over. Not necessarily in the way where, like in Terminator, where the machines go against the humans, but the humans have gone extinct, and machines are left in their place to kind of manage what's left of the world.
This is no time for sitting around. An old captain's chair. I moved it here from navigation. A large observational telescope. Without power from the ship, the telescope won't work.
Bad timing with those repairs, huh, boss?
Oh, Crispin. But I didn't actually end up picking up this game until much, much later. I think this game came out in like... Oh... I don't know my details on when this game actually came out, but I think I saw him play it around 2012, back when I was still in high school, back when he was still in high school. And the name Primordia has been stuck in my head ever since. The title of this game. And I recently found out that it was on GOG. I remembered it was on GOG, and I checked it out, and they were having a sale for all sorts of cyberpunk games and point and clicks, and I picked this one up. And I intended to play through like the first half hour or so to get a really good feel for the game and what would be done. And I found one puzzle that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Until one day.
Are we there yet?
Are we where yet?
Wherever it is we're going.
No.
Haven't heard that one before. And I got past that puzzle just on an accidental whim. And then I got so intrigued by the story that I ended up playing through the rest of the game. So I have a pretty good idea of what's coming up at this point. Hopefully it's been long enough that I don't remember every single puzzle, but I know what's coming, and it's good. The game is
A
excellent.
sturdy cable.
And it's excellently designed as well. For most point and clicks, this is not an easy adventure necessarily, but you don't have the issue nearly so much of pixel hunting that you do with a lot of other point and clicks. This game is really good about that for the most part.
It's the Unique's tag. Without it, I'd have never known the ship's name.
Apparently, building a giant airship doesn't require proper spelling.
Apparently not.
Nothing we can actually do there. And right here is our emergency generator. So yeah, hopefully it's been long enough that I don't remember most of the puzzles. That's unlikely to be the case, but one can hope, right? And at the very least, it's a powerful experience. A lot of themes in here to reflect on and talk about.
It's the generator's ignition switch. There's supposed to be a power-bearing conduit between this socket and the ship, but I never got around to putting one together.
Now who's the procrastinator?
Oh, Crispin. Really quick, I can talk about the control scheme. It's really, really simple. Move your mouse up into the top to open up your inventory, or your menu kind of thing. The game does not pause when you have this open, by the way. You can click on the eye for your inventory. There's a map that we have available to us. and you can click on each of the coordinates to bring yourself there. But right here we can also access data. That's also accessible in the main menu right here. And we can also click on Crispin. And our helper, Crispin, is able to interact with certain things.
Crispin Horatio built, version 1. He'll be version 2 once I put some arms on him. He is my best and only friend.
Aww. A little lonely out in the wastes, isn't it?
What was I thinking, leaving all my lanterns up there?
Huh.
What was I thinking, leaving all my lanterns up there?
So there's this one halogen lantern. You may have seen it when I was passing it by the other 3 times. This is something that
There's
we
no
can
way I
actually
can reach
interact
that.
with. And there are some shortcut keys that we can use for everything here in the menu as well. Which, oh, I actually didn't realize that they show up with the white letter in front of the name. So with Crispin, we can just press C and use him on the halogen lantern.
Could you grab that lantern?
Sure thing, boss.
You know, I always wanted to be able to fly. That's why I built you with a maglev unit.
Not so that you could store tools on hard-to-reach ledges.
Well, that too.
That is a really good question. Why would Horatio want to put all those lanterns on hard-to-reach places? So from here, oh yeah, that's a good one right there. I actually totally forgot about this. The first time we go into the data pouch that we picked up does have the system user, and Horatio Nullbuilt version 5 is our user.
The data pouch is registered to me.
And something we may have noticed that I want to point out now, actually, is both Horatio and Crispin have last names.
It's too dark to see the ladder rungs.
Their surnames indicates who built them. Crispin Horatio built. With Horatio, though, it's a little interesting because we have that Nullbuilt. Null. It doesn't say who actually built us. Unless there was a robot or something named Null. But, since it's dark down there, we can click on the lantern and use it on the hatch. Head down here. We have a gospel.
It's the gospel of man.
Going to pray for a miracle, boss?
We are man's miracle, Crispin. Let's hope that's enough.
Well, that's an interesting context. The gospel of man, we are man's miracle. Question mark?
That piece of sheet metal really ties the room together, boss.
I can't pick that up.
Okay.
So that's where you keep it.
Why were you looking for my plasma torch?
No reason.
Okay. And speaking about functionality, the only other controls we have besides going up here and the shortcut keys that use things in the menu is left click to interact with things and right click to
Ooh, spooky.
is left click to interact with things that we see in the game and right click to hear descriptions about them. Although sometimes the right click, like with the bed, does the same thing as the left click for whatever strange reason.
Bedtime reading. I don't need to bring these with me.
After all, boss, life is stranger than fiction.
Let's check out this Gospel of Man that we just picked up. Oh my. In the beginning, all was still and silent. Then, man the All-Builder spoke the word, and the word begat the code, and so the world began to spin. Thus dawned the Primordium, the first age, the age of building. Man moved across the world and built many wonders. In the heavens he paved the sky roads, on the land he raised mystic towers, and in the dark depths he dug colossal caves. Most incredible of all were the many machines designed by man, but still the All-Builder was not satisfied. Interesting. Very interesting. So man is kind of held as this reverent being.
The controls for this hatch are unresponsive. The controls for this hatch are unresponsive.
Oh dear. So man is held as this irreverent being, rather than just the creator of machines.
The control pad for the deck access ladder. Good thing there's still some power in the circuit.
Boss, shouldn't you have thought of that before coming down here? We could have been stuck.
I could have just ridden you back to the deck.
Really?
No. Routing that much power to your maglev unit would cause it to explode.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. I couldn't find a working fuse to solve the problem.
I'm a floating bomb. I'm a floating bomb. Sweet.
Oh, Crispin. I really do like Crispin. He's good. He's funny. Of all the people to have as a friend, Crispin was a good one. Actually, let's go back to the emergency generator. We aren't quite done with this here.
Crispin, when I told you to find a new spark plug, did you just shove my conductive putty into the old one?
Maybe.
No wonder the generator isn't working.
Well, let's take
At
the
least the
spark plug
putty is
then.
still good.
That's amusing. Okay then. Alright, we're basically done here at this point. There's not much more we can do. So let's go to the junk pile and check out what's there. Where it's apparently raining.
If that red light went off, I bet the train would start going.
Crispin, sometimes I think you're trying to get me to waste time.
Who, me? Boss, just think of all the brothers and sisters you could make for me from all that junk.
One of you is more than enough.
Oh, come on though, he's Crispin.
Looks like an old P2, or is it a P3?
I don't know how you... I wouldn't know the different models.
I picked it clean years ago. It's just scrap. Still red. Still red.
Sorry, I'm thinking of a Dead Space reference, specifically Dead Space 2. Got a tube over
There's
here.
a piece of gordium conduit way back there. I can't reach the conduit.
Maybe Crispin can reach it?
Crispin, can you go in there and get that piece of conduit?
I suppose.
Whoop.
That would have been a lot easier with hands, boss.
And speaking of conduit, we look like we have one right back here.
There's 3 pieces of gordium conduit. Unfortunately, one of them is completely corroded and worthless.
It's still 2 though. So how many pieces do we have at this point? 5 conduits. Okay. Cool. So I'm suddenly wondering if man is actually... That's a really interesting question. Has it been so long that man has kind of just been more idolized in the minds of the machines?
One robot's junk, is another robot's treasure. If only I were another robot.
Okay. Well, maybe you just need to look at the junk differently, Crispin. I do want to read the rest of the Gospel of Man, but we will have ample opportunity to do that later. Oh, here's a lockbox.
Looks like some kind of lockbox. It's locked tight.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Endless junk. Endless junk. Endless junk. Endless junk.
Apparently, lots of junk.
How do you think a train wound up out here, boss?
Maybe they brought it here by boat.
Very funny.
Wow, can you say dry humor or panhandle? What is it? Is it panhandle humor? No, that doesn't sound right. I don't remember. I guess it's dry humor.
It's closed.
So apparently the train has a door. I wonder if we can access it.
It's locked tight.
Apparently not.
Still locked.
We do have a plasma torch, though. I wonder if we could use it on the door.
It's reinforced steel.
No? Okay. But the lockbox, on the other hand... Let's try that.
Let's see if this works.
It does. Cool.
Is that a spark plug, boss? Who locks up a spark plug?
Actually, I think that box was some kind of machine.
You killed it!
Recycled it.
Well, we don't have a high enough resolution to tell if which one is correct. But, oh well. So the junk pile has a random train in it. I wonder how large the junk pile actually is, because this looks like it could go on for a while. But I think that's everything we can do in the junk pile at this point, so let's go back to the unique. And we can do things with the emergency generator at this point. First things first is that spark plug. Here we go.
I won't leave it running until I can connect it to the unique.
Okay, so now the generator works. We have 5 conduits that we need to use
I'll
on the
need to
generator.
get a closer look to see how it fits together. It won't work until they're locked together.
Okay. So maybe the putty?
Not a bad idea, but I can't carry enough of a charge, and it isn't sticky enough to hold them in place.
Okay. I think this was the puzzle that I got stuck on, but it's actually really simple. Just use it with the plasma torch.
Time for a little welding.
Wow, that was easier than I thought it would be.
And now, we can use it on the socket. And now we have a nice little conduit running from the emergency generator to our ship. I have to say, that is pretty cool with the views in this game.
Whew, I thought we were in trouble when Big Ugly stole our core. But just like that, problem solved.
The problem is not solved.
Well, I agree. The noise leaves something to be desired.
This is an emergency generator, Crispin.
Well, it was an emergency, boss.
It only runs for a few days, if that.
Oh. Well, do we have another one?
No, which means it still is an emergency.
Well, in that case, first dibs on the recharge station. So, what's the plan, boss?
We need to recover our power core.
Or we could just take the train to Metropol and live in luxury.
First of all, there is no train to Metropol. And second, even with full charges, we can't just walk there. But more importantly, I hate that city. It's in my core logic. I don't know why, but I can't change it.
Okay, okay. In that case, can't you just make us a new power core?
Yes, but I need some kind of strong energy source for that.
And you just make one of those too? I'm just asking.
No, but somewhere around here are the plans for an energy sensor.
That's awfully convenient.
I designed it a long time ago, before I made you. I even found a sodium iodide crystal to use in the sensor, though man alone knows where it's buried now.
Weary wanderers, come, join us in Metropol, city of glass and light. Our energy is shared with all robots. Here is haven for all and strength in numbers. Come, join us in Metropol. All are equal in Metropol, equal parts of the greater whole.
How do you lose a crystal, boss? If I had one, I'd attach it to my head.
That's why I put it somewhere you wouldn't find it.
You can't hide something shiny forever.
I stopped talking for a moment there because there was another voice in the background that you might be able to hear.
Haven for all and strength in numbers. Come, join us in Metropol. Geocoordinate 894. All are equal in Metropol, equal parts of the greater whole. Join us, and together let us begin a new Primordia.
Boss, is it okay if I sleep in the cradle until we have a new power core?
No.
Weary wanderers, come, join us in Metropol, city of glass and light. Our energy is shared with all robots. Here is haven for all and strength in numbers. Come, join us in Metropol, geocoordinate 894. All are equal in Metropol, equal parts of the greater whole. Join us, and together let us begin a new Primordium.
And that is our message from Metropol.
Join us in Metropol, city of glass and
Interesting.
light. Our energy is
And this place, despite how wonderful it sounds, is something that Horatio loathes for no discernible reason. But we are going to find out why later in the game, hopefully. And until then, I'm going to leave it here. So take care, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this first episode of Primordia, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.
All are equal in Metropol.